And I want to tell you a little story about Christmas. In 1948, after the war was over, I was 5 years old and woke up Christmas morning to find an electric train under the Christmas tree. We were living at the time in a military housing, 2-bedroom, somewhere in San Diego County, in San Diego actually. And the Christmas tree was not a particularly big tree, about that size, but it filled half of the living room. The other half of the living room was a sofa where my grandmother was sleeping, and on the floor my uncle was sleeping. The only other thing I remember about that Christmas, besides the electric train and the fact that Grandma was there, was the fact that my father nearly electrocuted himself trying to hook up the electric train. For many Christmases after that, the tradition of Grandma coming and staying with us just rolled into place. And when we were in El Cajon, you know, Grandma and my youngest uncle Dick would come down, and again, this time Grandma would sleep in the bedroom with one of the younger kids, with my brother or my sister, and Uncle Dick would sleep on the couch. So Christmas morning, with the presents and so forth, was always added with the bedding off the couch and Dick in his pajamas. Now, as the years passed, I met a woman who would become my mother-in-law. And when I got married, Christmas was still centered around Mama's house at that time in Pasadena. But after Linda and I got married and we had children, we went through that shift, that tectonic shift that occurs when suddenly you want to have Christmas in your house with your children, and then you travel to Grandma's house. So in the 60s and the 70s, there was that traveling to Grandma's house to see Marilyn and Meryl and the 2 little red-headed girls. They were about this tall in 1966 and 67. And then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but actually a few years later, it got to where the generation shift happened again, and once again Grandma was coming to sleep, except it was at my house. And we had Peter and Bernie come down, and Christmas morning was a mixture of pipe smoke and Bernie in always a new robe, and always a very frilly pink or something with this, and so they could come and see their grandkids. And the thing about that was that the only time they could come was when Peter was not on call. But he still got up at 5:30 in the morning. So he would be up 2 hours before the kids got up. And that was a tradition there. And then my folks would come up. So we went through the mid-70s to the mid-80s, you know, either in Palos Verdes or in Arrowhead, looking forward to the grandparents coming up and sleeping in the guest room, or always in the guest room, always in the guest room. And then of course it changed again as our children got old and big and went away. There was that time when we were neither parents of small children or grandparents yet, and we had one of the most wonderful Christmases. If you ask the question, what was our best Christmas, I think it was in 1998. When there were no little grandkids for us, but we had to have a Christmas with both of our children and both of their one spouse and one spouse-to-be in Whistler. And then we became the grandparents after that. So now we were traveling to Edmonds, and we were traveling to Carson City, and we were sleeping on the fold-out couch, which is a challenge in Carson City, and we were sleeping in the guest room. And so it turned once more, and that's where we are. That's where we are today. So the message I have for you is Christmas is not really about gifts. It's always about the people, and it's particularly a good year when you have Grandma sleeping on the couch or in the guest room. So that's my Christmas story.
I think the most important thing for me about this Christmas is that I'm here. Of course, that would be obvious, and that I'm going to stay here. and it's been a sea change. It's been a huge life change. So what's going on in 2012 for us is that we have a here to come to, thanks to Marilyn and John, and that we get to be here and start anew. But something else has also happened for me during this last year. It's been kind of a deeper current that's run through me, and I've been taking notes as the couple of years have gone by and trying to figure out what's really going on with me. And so I never have a chance to talk to all of you guys, and I get to let you know a little bit about what's going on with me. So it's always about Molly, just so you know. It's all about Molly. It's all about losing Molly. It's all about life without Molly. So when this first happened, when she first died, I thought, I will never, ever be okay. Never. And if you'd asked me back then, I had no plan on how to be okay. And it just wasn't, I just didn't ever think that would work. How do you make that work? But then something shifted a little bit and something changed, and I'm going to tell you what it is. But I've come to realize at the end of this year that I will never be the same, but I will be okay. So there's 3 stories. I didn't think I was going to cry. Whose napkin is this? Got to break attention. So here's what happened. The first thing that happened was in 2011 when Bill had to go through chemo for his leukemia. And that was just like, a kind of a blow. And what I thought was, not another cancer center, not another infusion room, not another yellow Barca-lounger that they're trying to make look good, and that isn't really a good Barca-lounger to be sitting in because it's got an IV pole and all that crap. And I just thought, I don't want to do this again. What has my life turned to? But the day we walked in, the first day, we walked in, day 1 for his chemo. I walked in there, and I saw this room, and I thought, Molly did this. I can do this. I know how to do this. And we did it. He did it a little more than I did it. But I surprised myself because I felt capable and not overwhelmed and not intimidated. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. So there was that piece that happened around me and cancer. And then the next thing that happened was this year. I've had some reconstructive surgery, so I was in my surgeon's office, and I was sitting there waiting for a follow-up appointment, and a woman came in, head in a bandana, bald, 8-year-old little girl. She was really darling, both of them. She sat down, and I sat there, and I thought about Molly, and I looked at her, and the thing I thought was, I could help her. I could help her. But I didn't say anything to her because I knew I was going to move. And I really couldn't help her. So I didn't reach out. But I was drawn to her. I was just drawn. It's like, whoa, I know how to do this again. So then the third thing that happened, I think I emailed you all. It was Mama's Fish House, the lady that I ran into at Mama's Fish House, and how drawn I was to her. And how I did reach out and talk to her, and when I saw her, I told her Molly's story. I told a little bit of Molly's story, but basically I told her the kids are okay, and she wanted to know if I was okay, and I said, I'm okay. I'm here. I'm okay. So she was at the end, and for all of you who know, so there was another piece where I saw somebody that was going through something so similar to what we'd gone through. And I was okay with it. I'm like, wait a minute, am I capable? I didn't think I was a capable person. I kind of thought I was a fall-apart person. So here we are. So those 3 things happened. So here we are, Christmas 2012. And what happens for me is that grief comes again. It comes. You just can't stop it. It comes. And what I realize now is that that grief is mine for a lifetime. It's not going to go away. It's mine for a lifetime. But what I put together, when Marilyn said to start thinking about stuff, what I put together was I know now how to transform my grief. I know how to do it. And the way I learned how to do it was to think of the one who sent it to me. And that's how I transformed it. And that's my Christmas 2012. Next. Oh, I have to light something.
But I didn't prepare anything. I mean, I kind of thought, but I didn't really have anything prepared. So I guess I'm speaking just right now. But anyway, so obviously Christmas is a time that allows us all to get together and reflect on things. And I just reflect on how fortunate I am. I mean, to be able to come into this family, and this is a truly amazing family. It's an incredible family. It's an exceptional family. It's a family that you know, so many people in this world wish they had, and each and every one of us has it. And it's something that we should all feel very fortunate about. I know I do, and I thank all of you for allowing me to be a part of it. And I know you'd mentioned, you know, come up and tell a story of the past, and you know, stories continue to develop as well. And so I guess, you know, it's not a very long story, but it's a story, I guess, and that's you know, as part of this family, getting to know different family members better and all that, and because of the of Great Clips, which has provided quite a few things that are well beyond just the business piece of it, but there's been a lot of really good beneficial things that have come out of that. But one of the most recent ones is my opportunity to work with Ron, and you know, it's great. Ron and I, ever since I came into the family, we've always kind of known each other through these parties, and we visit, and it's always been very cordial, and I've always been really impressed with him. But it's through working together now that you know, I really appreciate what an extraordinary guy.
Yes.
And yeah, just a great guy. And so driving up to the Dalles, he and I've had some really good conversations, and I've really got to know him. And so not only is he just a good guy inside, but he's also a great guy outside. His skills in his craft are amazing. Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, once we get this thing done, and you guys go up and you see the work that Ron has done up there, you'll be extremely impressed, because I've been blown away by the things that he can do. So, anyway, that's my story, and it will continue. So, anyway.
All right. Well, what I did is I'm going to share a little bit about Joseph. In our church services that we've had for the last 4 weeks at our church, we've been hearing a lot about Mary and the line that she came from, and how spectacular of a woman she was. But I wanted to let you know what the study I did, and I brought it. We're going to bring it into our inmates because we're doing a nativity scene for our inmates, and so my job was to do about Joseph, and so I just thought I'd share a little bit about Joseph, because there's not a lot in the Bible about Joseph. He was only in our Savior's life for part of the time. But what I found out is that Joseph was a righteous man, and his actions towards Mary, his fiancée, revealed he was kind and sensitive. He was a kind and sensitive man. And although Joseph initial reaction was to break engagement with Mary, the way he treated Mary was with extreme kindness. And I don't know if we know or we understand, but in the times that Joseph was going through with Mary becoming with child, it was very much a disgrace. Very much Mary could have been stoned and put to death. And his first reaction, which I think would be a little bit all of ours with the anger and stuff that comes with reactions of those things, was that he was going to break the engagement. He did not want to cause further shame, though, so he decided to act quietly. But God sent an angel to Joseph to verify Mary's story and reassure him that the marriage to her was God's will, and Joseph willingly obeyed God in spite of the public humiliation he would face. Perhaps this noble quality made him God's choice for the Messiah's earthly father. But in Matthew chapter 1, it tells us that he was an excellent earthly example of integrity and righteousness. Joseph, last mentioned in Scripture, was when Jesus was 12 years old. And we know that he passed on his carpentry trade to his son and raised him in the Jewish traditions. So to kind of sum it up, what Joseph's strengths were is Joseph was a man of strong conviction who lived out his beliefs and actions. He was described in the Bible as a righteous man, even when personally wronged, and he had the quality of being sensitive to someone else's shame. He responded to God in obedience, and he practiced self-control. Joseph is a wonderful biblical example of integrity and godly character. And I thought that was really interesting, because if you look around at the men in our family, we have great men in our family.
Yes, we do.
And I just want to pay a tribute also to John and Bill and to Jim and my husband Ron and Ben and Franklin. When you get married and get to be a part of that with your wife and family and little Benjamin. But the example that you guys that are older than us set for us as growing up, and the biblical example you set, the integrity that you hold when you run businesses and your prayers for the family, for me, it doesn't go unnoticed. And I thank you for your love and your integrity and all that you show and do for us. And you remind me of Joseph.
So, mine is not my best I just have a couple short stories. Mine is not the best Christmas I had, but a memory of the worst Christmas I had.
I'm sorry about that.
And several of you were there. And I remember this memory from some recent footage that Uncle Bill had made. And you guys, I might need some help filling in the parts, because I think I was really quite little in this memory.
I deny everything.
It's like I had parents, I had grandparents, I had aunt and uncle. I was 3 years old. I was 3 years old. Christmas with the family of all these adults, and we're opening and having a joyous time. And all I remember at Grandma Bernie's house and Grandpa Peter's house, and so we were all together. We were getting dolls, and I remember opening some presents, and there was a knock on the door, and in through the front door came this huge Santa Claus that came in to ho, 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 this big, deep voice. And I just remember screaming the loudest scream. I ran to the bathroom, and I locked the door, and I think I stayed in there, I don't know how long, half an hour, to make sure Santa was gone before I came out. So that was where's Tracy? I was just like in the back bathroom. And
Yeah, you were streaked out.
and I don't know who Santa was, if they'd paid for Santa to be there, but it's like I'm sure he wasn't going to go away soon, because he was supposed to entertain the family. So I was in there till he was gone. So that was one of my memories. Not the best. And then I just found a little poem that I'd like to read. It's called The Gift. And it's called Bow and Ribbon, Love and Glitter, cover the gift as curiosities flitter. Of what wonders could come inside, and what this eve has been supplied by family, friend, and stranger too, saying with the gift, I love you. Bow and ribbon, love and glitter will never make a soul grow bitter, for no matter what the gift may or may not, the giving is the purest gold.
Do-woppy woppy. Do-woppy woppy.
Hey y'all, I'm so glad you're here to spread some warmth and some Christmas cheer. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that I love you all, and that's a good place to start.
Stop. Do-woppy woppy. Do-woppy woppy.
I really love this time of year, but it takes some time to get into gear. Because Christmas comes and goes so quick, I don't really grasp and appreciate it.
Do-woppy woppy. Do-woppy woppy.
The way that I know that it should be done with spirit-filled hearts from the Holy One, with obligations and commitments too, how can a guy really get through?
Do-woppy woppy. I'm doing your line.
To the real meaning of Christmas time, without much thought towards the mighty dime, big Christmas trees and lots of lights masquerade proudly as promise rites.
Doo-woppy woppy.
Hold on now, no offense intended, just a noteworthy cause that may need mended.
Doo-woppy woppy.
Now this world is off its rocker a bit, and man alone can't make it fit. With guns a-blazing and kids shot down, with politicians acting as circus clowns.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
Now we gotta be careful that we don't lose hope. Who do we turn to? How do we cope? Oh. Well, realize this and mark it down. I thought you had a doo-wop there. Well, realize this and mark it down. 2,000 years ago, a babe came around.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
His purpose was clear and very precise. He had a mission that didn't end nice. Oh, I did it again.
Doo-woppy woppy.
Just throw it in there when you feel led to it. Okay? This little babe came down as a son of God. From the highest of heaven to earth he trod.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
He gave up so much that he didn't have to. He bled and died. His love is so true. Each drop of blood, make no mistake, was earmarked for you. Was earmarked for you and for me to take.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
To claim a clean, you guys are losing your doo-wops here. To claim a clean slate, washed pure as snow, this is what he wants us to know. His life was given to make our lives new. Receivers are many and rejectors are few.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
Those who receive are eternally bound. Those who ignore can gain no ground. Their hope is lost and their cause is gone, but it doesn't have to be because of the Holy One.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
His purpose was clear with much insight, to give hope to the lost and share his light. To give them eyes so that they can see that Christmas is now and eternity.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
Loving each other loving each other as he loves us, caring for each other without all the fuss, treating each other as we long to be, reflecting Jesus that others can see.
Doo-woppy woppy. Doo-woppy woppy.
The King of Glory and the Prince of Peace. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's have some treats.
I'm just going to share something that really hit home to me. When the shootings happened at Clackamas Town Center, when we first heard about it, I just remember it's so different when you hear about a shooting like far away and it doesn't really connect, but when it's in your own neighborhood. I mean, we're less than a couple miles away from there. I just remember just thinking, like, how dare they come in and to our community and our homes and our families and take people's lives, and it just really hit me. And it was important for me and Ben and Benjamin to go the next day and when the mall opened again and just like be there where this happened, but I obsess a little bit over this kind of stuff. I just listen to every review, I read everything about it, I just want to know all about it. And so all the people calling in, it was really interesting to me to hear what they had to say. And some of the people were sharing just the regret they had about just running out the mall and not taking the time to help somebody. And I just thought about what those people are going to have to live with. And, the radio hosts were saying, that's what you do. You run or you help somebody. Neither are wrong. But the people that just ran out and maybe trampled on somebody or saw somebody elderly or disabled and didn't take a second to help, people were saying on the radio how they just felt, I wish I would have been the one to help somebody, And so I don't even know why I'm crying, but I'm just nervous in front of everybody. So I really thought about that, and of course, if I had Benjamin, I think and something happened to me in that situation, I'd be in a different situation. Obviously, I'd be just worried about him. But I just started thinking, what kind of person am I? Am I going to be that, that nurse and the ER doctor that said, heck with it, I'm going to stay with the victim and I'm going to hold their hand? Yeah. Or am I going to be so worried about myself I'm just going to jet on and not care who I trample on the way out? And, you know, and of course, you know, maybe major tragedy or something like that won't happen all the time. But I really do believe the character that you build every day, every moment of your life, defines you in big, important moments. And that really hit me. You know, just my attitude at work. It's a place I just hate going recently until I moved, you know, and just what kind of person I was becoming there. And, you know, and I just transferred to a new store, and I just, it's so good to be there. And I just look at every person that walks through that door as like, you know, I don't have any responsibilities except for to put fruit out. So it's like my opportunity to talk to everybody that comes through that door, to say hi to them, give them a, you know, Nicole smile, and how's it going? Or, and just, you know, I don't know. And I just realized that mentality about myself and how I want to make sure that I'm the person that's going to stay there and help somebody, and I'm the person that's going to take a moment and make a difference in somebody else's life instead of being so focused on me or so focused sometimes on Benjamin. So, so that was kind of a defining moment for me in the last couple of years of just a big life changer, eye opener, character, something. So that's all.
For me, the last part of 2012 has been just an amazing kind of a crossroads, a transition, a time of preparing for Linda and Bill to come and be here, and it was a great incentive for me to go through a lot of things that were back in the lily pad that I hadn't gone through yet. I did the first level or two of going through, but I still had lots of other, not quite done, but really did a lot of that. And amongst all of the things, I of course found many things from GGB, and this one I wanted to share tonight. And it was tucked away, and it has save, underline, and her writing on it. And it says, the title of it is Not Growing Old. And so here we go. They say that I am growing old. I've heard them tell it times untold, in language plain and bold. But I am not growing old. This frail old shell in which I dwell is growing old. I know full well, but I am not the shell. What if my hair is turning gray? Gray hairs are honorable, they say. What if my eyesight's growing dim? I can still see to follow him who sacrificed his life for me upon the cross of Calvary. What should I care if time's old plow has left its furrows on my brow? Another house not made with hand awaits me in the glory land. What though I falter in my walk? What though my tongue refuse to talk? I still can tread the narrow way. I still can watch and praise and pray. And she prayed up till the end for all of us. My hearing may not be as keen as in the past it may have been. Still, I can hear my Savior say in whispers soft, this is the way. The outward man do what I can to lengthen out this life's short span, shall perish and return to dust, as everything in nature must. The inward man, the scriptures say, is growing stronger every day. Then how can I be growing old when safe within my Savior's fold? Ere long my soul shall fly away and leave this tenement of clay. This robe of flesh I'll drop and rise to seize the everlasting prize. I'll meet you on the streets of gold and prove that I'm not growing old.
Well, I was going to close with a scripture from the Beatitudes, Matthew 5, and it's where Jesus and the disciples go up on top of a mountain to get away from a multitude of people, and there he shares these Beatitudes with them. And the particular one I picked was, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house." And I think that applies to each and every one of us here, literally and figuratively, both. So that's my offering.
And each person will have their part a day. So when it comes to your day, we'll all sing together. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. And then if then, every day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds. No,
You're kicked out of the game.
3
French hens,
2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Faster now.
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
11 pipers piping.
10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies
8 maids a milking.
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
12 drummers drumming.
11 pipers piping.
10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing,
8 maids a milking.
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Merry Christmas.
Are you serious? Yeah. Who did it?
Santa baby, Santa under the tree for me. Being an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight.
Oh, Jesus, Ashley.
Santa baby, outer space convertible to light blue. I'll wait up for you, dear Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Think of all the friends that I haven't kissed. Next year I could be oh so good if you'll check off my Christmas list.
Bill for the sunglasses. The lure.
Hey, here we go.
Not a lot.